A promising actress with dreams larger than life itself, Lana Clarkson was on a path to make her mark in Hollywood. Born and raised in California, the Golden State, Lana was a vibrant soul with an infectious energy. From a young age, she was passionate about acting, a passion that would guide her life's ambitions. In her early career, Lana found herself in a variety of roles, often in B-movies. These roles, while not the height of cinematic art, gave her a platform to hone her craft and express her undeniable talent. She had a unique aura, a charisma that drew audiences in, a charm that made her stand out in an industry filled with shining stars. Then came the role that would define her career, the Barbarian Queen. It was a breakout role for Lana, propelling her into the limelight. She was no longer a background character, she was a queen, a lead, a force to be reckoned with. With her sword-wielding prowess and her fiery spirit, she captured the hearts of many, creating a lasting impression. But Lana wasn't just an actress. She was a woman of substance, full of life and dreams. She envisioned a future where she would continue to grow as an actress, where she would take on more challenging roles, where she would leave an indelible mark on Hollywood. Her aspirations were as grand as the Hollywood sign that overlooks the city, as bright as the California sun. Lana Clarkson, with her radiant smile and unyielding spirit, was carving out her space in Hollywood. She was on a path to stardom, a journey to fulfill her dreams. She had the talent, the passion, and the determination. She was ready to take on the world, to etch her name in the annals of Hollywood greatness. Little did she know her dreams would be brutally cut short. On a fateful night in February 2003, Lana Clarkson's life was tragically snuffed out. This was the night when Lana, a talented actress with dreams of making it big in Hollywood, crossed paths with Phil Spector, a renowned music producer with a dark side. The two met at the House of Blues, a popular spot in Los Angeles where Lana worked as a hostess. Spector, a frequent visitor, was there that evening. As the night wore on, they left together, ending up at Spector's mansion, a sprawling estate in Alhambra, California. As the hours ticked by, a chilling event unfolded within the mansion's walls, one that would shock the world. It was not Spector who alerted the authorities to the tragedy that had occurred. Rather, it was his driver who, in the early hours of the morning, made a chilling 911 call. The driver reported hearing a gunshot from inside the mansion, and when police arrived, they found Lana Clarkson, just 40 years old, dead. She had suffered a fatal gunshot wound to the mouth. The discovery of Lana's body was a grim scene. An actress known for her work in films like Barbarian Queen lay lifeless in a mansion belonging to one of the music industry's most successful producers. The contrast between Lana's vibrant life and her untimely violent death was stark and horrifying. As news of Lana's death spread, shockwaves rippled through Hollywood and beyond. Questions swirled around what had happened that night. How had a night out in Los Angeles led to such a grim end, and why was it Spector's driver, not Spector himself, who had alerted the authorities to Lana's death? The grim reality of that night's events would unfold over the coming months, shedding light on a tale of ambition, power, and the dark underbelly of Hollywood's glamorous facade. It was a shocking end for an actress who had so much more to give. Phil Spector, a renowned record producer, suddenly became the prime suspect in Lana's murder. As the story unfolded, it was Spector's ever-changing accounts that raised eyebrows and suspicions. His first testimony to the police was that the death was a result of an accidental discharge. He claimed that the gun went off unintentionally, suggesting that Lana's death was a tragic accident rather than a calculated murder. However, just as the detectives were trying to piece together this narrative, Spector changed his story. He then claimed that it was Lana herself who had pulled the trigger, suggesting that she had taken her own life in his home. He painted a picture of a woman so despondent that she resorted to suicide, and he was merely a helpless bystander. Yet, as detectives dug deeper into the case, they found inconsistencies in Spector's stories. The forensic evidence didn't align with his claims of an accidental discharge, the bullet trajectory, the blood splatter patterns, the position of Lana's body. None of it pointed to an accident. Furthermore, Lana's friends and family fiercely disputed the suicide claim. They vouched for her zest for life and her unwavering determination to succeed in Hollywood. The idea of her ending her life was, to them, inconceivable. As the investigation progressed, Spector's stories became even more convoluted and contradictory. He seemed to tailor his narrative to fit the emerging evidence, casting a shadow of doubt over his innocence. The more he tried to explain himself, the deeper the hole he seemed to dig. In a case filled with high drama, it was Spector's shifting stories that were perhaps the most damning. They raised questions about his credibility, and gradually the public opinion began to turn against him. It became apparent that Spector was not just a bystander in this tragedy, but a key player. The evidence, however, began to paint a different picture. A picture of a man who was desperately trying to evade justice, spinning a web of lies that only served to ensnare him further. As the investigators delved deeper, the case against Phil Spector became stronger. The murder of Lana Clarkson was a puzzle, and every piece investigators unearthed seemed to point to Spector as the culprit. Forensic evidence played a crucial role, contradicting Spector's claims and painting a picture of murder. The gunshot wound, a grim hallmark of the crime, was inconsistent with suicide according to the experts. The angle and the location of the wound, the blood spatter, the absence of Lana's fingerprints on the gun, all these elements pointed to an external force, a third party involved in the act. But forensic evidence was only a part of the story. The testimonies of 5 women who had crossed paths with Spector in the past added a chilling dimension to the case. They claimed that Spector had a history of threatening women with guns. Each of their stories echoed the same pattern. A charming encounter that escalated into a terrifying experience. One woman recounted in a trial that gripped the nation, Phil Spector faced the consequences of his actions. The trial of Phil Spector was a spectacle in its own right. The courtroom was charged with anticipation, the air thick with the weight of what was at stake. It was a tale of power and celebrity, but at its heart, it was a story about a woman who had been brutally robbed of her life. Spector's defense team was led by the renowned attorney Bruce Cutler, known for his work with high-profile clients. But even Cutler's reputation could not gloss over the grim facts of the case. The defense argued that Lana Clarkson was depressed and had taken her own life. They claimed that Spector, a man known for his eccentricities and volatility, was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. The prosecution, on the other hand, had a different story to tell. They painted a picture of a man who, despite his fame and fortune, was prone to violent outbursts, particularly when under the influence of alcohol. They brought forward witnesses who recounted past incidents of Spector threatening women with guns. The prosecution argued that Lana Clarkson's death was not a suicide, but a murder. The trial was a roller coaster of emotions, with key moments that kept the nation on the edge of their seats. The prosecution's star witness, Adriano de Souza, Spector's driver, testified that Spector had confessed to him on the night of the murder, saying, "I think I killed somebody." This testimony was a turning point, a chilling admission that cast a long shadow over the defense's claims of innocence. However, the defense was not without its own triumphs. They brought forward forensic experts who suggested that the evidence could support their claim of suicide. They argued that the blood spatter patterns were consistent with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The defense's arguments were compelling, but they were up against a mountain of evidence and a powerful narrative spun by the prosecution. The trial, which began in 2007, lasted for 5 grueling months. The jury deliberated for 15 days, wrestling with the evidence and testimony presented to them. It was a tough decision, one that would not only determine the fate of Phil Spector, but also serve as a statement on the value of Lana Clarkson's life. And then, on April 13, 2009, the verdict was announced. Phil Spector was found guilty of second-degree murder. The courtroom was silent as the decision was read, the gravity of the moment sinking in. Spector, the man who had once been a giant in the music industry, was sentenced to 19 years to life in prison. In the end, justice was served. With Spector behind bars, the world was left to mourn the loss of Lana Clarkson. The aftermath of the trial was a time of mixed emotions. There was relief undoubtedly that justice had been served, that Spector was now locked away, unable to harm anyone else. But there was also a profound sense of loss, a gaping hole left by Lana's untimely departure. Lana's life was a testament to her resilience and ambition. She was a woman who dreamed big and worked tirelessly to make those dreams a reality. She was not just an actress, but a beacon of hope for many, proof that with talent and determination one could make it in Hollywood. The roles she played, especially in Barbarian Queen, showcased her strength, her courage, and her uncanny ability to captivate an audience. But Lana was more than her on-screen persona. Those who knew her personally spoke of her warmth, her kindness, her infectious laughter. She was a woman who loved deeply, who cherished her relationships, and who had a zest for life that was truly inspiring. Her death sent shockwaves through the Hollywood community. Colleagues and fans alike struggled to come to terms with the tragedy. Candlelight vigils were held, memorials were organized, and tributes poured in from all corners of the globe. It was clear that Lana had touched countless lives, both on and off the screen. And yet, in the midst of the sorrow there was a sense of resolve. Lana's death was not in vain. It served as a stark reminder of the dangers of domestic violence, of the importance of holding perpetrators accountable, regardless of their status or wealth. It sparked conversations, ignited movements, and inspired change. Lana Clarkson's life was taken too soon, but her spirit and her dreams will never be forgotten. Her legacy lives on, not just in the roles she played, but in the lives she touched, the hearts she warmed, and the changes she inspired. Even in death, Lana continues to make a difference, continues to shine, continues to be a beacon of hope for many, and for that, she will always be remembered.